Get strong.
It was a vampire wedding and the whole clan wished them well. You could see that Edgar did truly love the mademoiselle. Now the young Markov and Dorin have rung a chapel bell. C'est la vie, said the cat thought. They do the show you never can tell. They finished off the shadow with a 22-room Robux cell. The coolerator was crammed with people dinners and a sanguine ale. But when the mock-up found wolves, a little chaos coming worked out well. C'est la vie, say the bloodkin. It goes to show you never can tell. They had a bad moon Sabbath, and boy, they sure did let it blast. 700 neonates all racked of MARO and Boraz. But when the sun went down, the rapid tempo of the frenzy fell. C'est la vie, say the falcon wrath, it goes to show you never can tell. They played a souped up theremin, 'twas a cherry red evening. They marched it down to the Grimwood to celebrate the anniversary. It was there that Markov married the lovely Velderan. C'est la vie, say the sin gift, it goes to show you never can tell. It was a vampire wedding and the whole clan wished them well. You could see that Edgar did truly love the mademoiselle. And now the young Markov and Bella ran up from the chapel bell. C'est la vie, say the sin gift, it goes to show you never can tell. C'est la vie, say the sin gear. It goes to show you never can tell. Hello and welcome to Eternal Dirtles. I'm your host, Zach Clark, and with me as always, Phil Bleckman. Phil, how's it going, man?
Happy Asmorna Martica Dicina Coldicard to you, sir.
It is a Asmora Martica Dicina Coldicard Eve to you.
Yes, indeed.
Since Halloween's coming up, right?
It is true. It is true. This is it, like I'm getting in the spirit, man. You're getting in the spirit. You got a nice brew in your hands.
Heck yeah, I got some Pumpkin. I'm wearing my I don't know if the masses can see, but I am wearing my what's called this is my Monster Squad t-shirt.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Keeping it Innistrad. The Monster Squad. Well, so let's talk about, okay, so we're going to go over the spoilers that happened today, but we're also going to talk about this is today being Thursday, October 28th, so you'll probably see this on Friday morning. But I'd like to talk about the teasers, the duelist style teasers that Mark Rosewater sent us as well. So let's do that.
Yeah, some of these teasers have already been spoiled on the first day of spoilers, so we'll obviously shout those out. Exactly. But there's a bunch left that we're going to try and predict before we get to the rest of the spoilers tomorrow through this week.
Yep. All right, so the first one is new counter types. That is Bloodline, Croak, Invitation, Judgment, Omen, Slime, and Suspect.
So we've seen Croak counters. That's on the new Frog Legend.
Frog.
We've seen invitation counters already, and the other ones are left open. So the slime counters, I'm assuming, are going to be on the legendary slug that he prompted on Twitch earlier during like the little interview of like, what can we expect? What's going to come? Somebody had asked Rosewater, "What's your favorite card in the set that he's most excited for?" And of course, being a lover of doofy tribes as he is, he said the legendary slug that we're going to find. Also, I'm just going to. There is one spoiler that already came out that has what is probably going to be the best flavor text long term. Looking back at this set already, it's on a card called Massive Might, which is an instant for green. So target creature gets +2/+2 and gains trample in it until end of turn. Your giant growth variant, but it says the flavor text is run. It's coming for us eventually.
Yeah, that's right up there with Akhan's run.
Yeah, it is an excellent callback, and it's just the hilarious Halloween nature I want from my Innistradians.
All right, so then we've got a new mechanic that removes something never removed before. You and Nate were saying Planeswalker emblems.
No. So Nate had said Planeswalker emblems, and I saw a couple of other people saying emblems because it feels like the thing that we should have, should exist. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're going to go that deep. I think it's going to be like remove day night. Maybe remove day night. I think it would be really funny if they were just like remove poison counters. But that's not that you can remove those with leeches. So technically, no. True. It's happened before. Yeah, I mean, for what it's worth, like they have been dropping like the Phyrexian hints throughout the multiverse in other sets. So there could be something Phyrexian that hits us this week.
Yeah. A popular and powerful creature card from Innistrad that gets reprinted. That's Thalia, right?
Yeah, easy Thalia.
Thalia. Everybody, like, I don't understand, like, why, like, we don't need more Thalias.
I think the new Thalia art, though, I think is the best one of all of them.
It is cool.
I think it's the best one of all of the Thalia arts that have ever been designed. I think that was.
And there's a lot of Thalia art out there.
A lot of Thalia art. Yeah.
All right, a card that makes a red dragon illusion creature token with flying and haste. Cool. I didn't see that yet. A mechanic that first appeared as a faction mechanic returns as a
That's exploit.
That's exploit. Yeah. That makes sense.
That was used for the Sultai in cons, and
that is a faction
zombie mechanic. Yeah.
A new legendary card that combines new characters that previously each had their own legendary creature card. So is that Gissa and whatever?
So they did Gissa in Midnight Hunt, and so we are anticipating getting Geralf in this set. So it's possible that they just run Gissa back and put him in the same card again, like they've done previously. When we first saw this, I had made the guess that it makes sense that they've already spoiled the new Olivia, and that getting an Olivia card and an Edgar Markov card separately makes sense as individual legends. I honestly thought that the new one was going to combine both Edgar and Olivia because they're the ones that are getting married. So I thought they were going to give us a legendary card that was like, I thought that's what it was going to be. It is obviously not that because the new Olivia has been spoiled. So
I want to see like Avacyn and Grizzlebrand combined to one magic card.
Dude, I want to see. I honestly hope it's fucking Geralf and Grimgrin.
Yeah, something stupid, right? Like I'm trying to think of other great legends from that format. Like, could we get like the Lunarch guy that the Unhallowed and something stupid like like a Splinter Fright or something like that. Something silly.
Maybe, oh man, it would be really
get wrong monster and
if we get the Geralf Macias monster mashup, that would be sick.
Yeah. All right. A new card that lets you cast certain cards off the top of your library. I think we got that. It's that exists, right? I think we saw that.
I haven't seen it yet.
I think we saw that. I'm not positive. We'll get to that when we get into it because I think it's on a flip card.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just haven't seen it.
I haven't been paying as much attention to that stuff, but I'm pretty sure I saw something like that earlier. Okay, a new mechanic that is a mirror of an already existing mechanic.
That's training. So training.
Mentor. That makes sense.
They are just flipped. Yeah. I mean, training is a more elegant version of mentor, I think. The way that they described it, that's what they were going for, but I think that they have in fact succeeded in that way. Even though we haven't seen how it plays yet. The idea that training wants you to go wide. so that you can train multiple times is much more elegant than just like 1+1/+1 counter return.
So we haven't gotten this one yet, and this is great because there's a lot of speculation for this one. A legendary character returns, but now as a vampire. A lot of people are saying it's Nahiri. I would have actually guessed Thalia because I thought that would have been a cool, like, haha, this card, but obviously we got Thalia already. Returns as a vampire. So whenever you have a situation like this is an old like D&D routine, is like it's spelled Blackguard, but it's Blackguard. Or you'll often hear like an English person say like, "You Blackguard." It's Blackguard. And so the idea there is a paladin that turns to evil. And I think it'll be Odric, man.
That would be, Odric was, I think Odric, that would make sense, right? Because he was fighting like all of the horrors or whatever the previous time. And we know that it's not Thalia. Are there any other legendary creatures in Innistrad that would sort of get like the Kalidish treatment where it gets turned?
Let's think about the legends from those sets, right?
Grim zombie vampire. Let's go.
Yes. He gets bitten and he's like, "Nah, man, I've been bitten by vampires." He's like,
I've been waiting for this. Oh yeah.
Man, I just don't know. Like, you could do like Ludwig, like would be funny, but like wouldn't make any sense. Because like it's funny because the zombies and the vampires are like completely separate parts of the same storyline.
Ludwig would also be weird because he just had a card in Midnight Hunt.
Yeah.
So it would be weird to run it back again after just doing it in the previous. I mean, you could, but like it's not like he's part of a major story, I don't think.
Exactly. Yeah. I think it's interesting that it says a legendary character when in so many other, like if you look up three things, it says a new legendary creature card, right? Creature. But this says character, so it leads me to believe that we're going to see a planeswalker as a vampire.
This makes me, it's possible, but it would be weird since we already know that the planeswalkers in this set are Chandra, Kaya, and Scourge.
No, I think that they're going to downgrade to a creature again.
Oh, you think somebody's going to lose their spark?
Yeah, you get bit by a vampire, you lose your spark, and now Tamio, the Forsaken.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be very cool.
If Moonfolk vampire.
That would actually be pretty hot. I feel like
and now
the Nahiri Soren thing. I feel like it's not going to be Nahiri because that story is so big and has been drawn out for so long that when the Soren Nahiri set finally comes to a head, I feel like that's going to be dedicated content. I don't think that's going to be like a side story at the culmination of like who kills who. You know what I mean? I feel like that's going to be it's the Brothers War. It's just going to be Soren versus Nahiri.
It's just going to be a land that says like whatever that is, the blood feud. Okay, exactly. So then next are some hints using only snippets of rules text on new cards. Choose number between 1 and 13. That's that Wrath of God. I actually really like that because it's like a Wrath of God that's good for swarm strategies.
Yeah, the Wrath of God, it's cool too. It gives you,
go on.
It gives you the semblance of the semblance of a choice. I can't imagine what scenario where it's like if you have more creatures on board than your opponent, unless you're in a token strategy where all of your creatures are obviously way worse than all of your opponents.
Well, yeah, like if you're playing Reanimator versus tokens, it's amazing, right? Like you're as a token player because you're like, cool, your Grizzlebrand's dead. I've got all these 1/1 tokens still.
I think that the templating for this card is cool. I think in practice, you're never not saying all of your opponent's creatures, right? Like it's just like
it'll be very rare. It'll be very rare that you don't say your opponent's creatures. I think that the cool thing about this for me is it's just a really cool like wrath that like plays in a field that normal wraths don't play in.
I think that the something that could be cool is using something like this proactively because it says your opponent. It says sacrifices. So if you were an aristocratian style deck, this could act similarly to like what Blasphemous Act used to in the Old Aristocrats deck, where it's like you wanted to kill everything, including your own shit, so you could get all these death triggers. And I feel like that this is going to like
get your blood artist on. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, this is going to be like I feel like this is the type of card that's going to be used more proactively to kill your own shit as well as your opponents because of the sacrifice clause. So it's cool though. It's definitely a cool templating.
Then we've got one that says with mana value less than or equal to the number of vampires you control. That is dominating vampire. So that just takes control of a.
It's a threat.
Yeah, it's a threat. Is it just for end of turn?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Does it say until end of turn? No, it just gains haste until end of turn.
Oh, it gains haste.
Yeah, it's a whole new sentence. So that's cool.
Gain control of target creature with mana value less vampire until end of turn.
Oh
yeah, it's a threaten.
Okay, it's a threaten. That's
they wrote until end of turn multiple times in the same text box.
Yeah, come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
Come on, guys.
Come on.
Okay,
come on.
If it's red, you may cast it this turn. Cool. I feel like we might have seen that in the things already. Zombies you control have flying. That's rad.
Wow.
I love it. Flying zombies.
So I've been trying to make zombies work in Legacy for some time now. Let me tell you, it is a struggle. So I'm expecting to get some Legacy playable zombie cards off of Exploit. We've gotten dangerously close already with the 3/2 Death Toucher that exploits. It's a 3 mana 3/2 Death Toucher, and it exploits to draw 2, lose 2.
Yeah.
So you sign in blood yourself.
I like that one. Yeah.
That's going to cut it. 3 mana is too high.
Read the bones level kind of card.
3 mana is too high. But if we get anything, if we get a 1 mana exploit creature on a zombie, we are in business if it does anything relevant. So
at the beginning of your upkeep, an opponent may sacrifice a creature. I haven't seen that yet.
Not yet.
Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent. Haven't seen that yet.
That shouts what's her face?
Tamio, right?
No,
Kiora.
It shouts Kiora, but Kiora is not in this set. So
not around, yeah. Twice that many tokens are created instead. I don't know what it is, but it'll be played in EDH.
It's going to anything that says twice that many is always played in EDH.
Yep. Whenever a human you control dies,
there's your aristocrats.
Yep. Equal to the number of permanents you control that are spirits and or enchantments. That exists. That's I want to say on the other side of the Vengeful Victim or something like that. It's a card that exists. We'll talk about that in a second.
It's on the Legendary Spirit. Yeah.
Yep. I lost my place.
Dorothea. They pronounced it two different ways on stream when they were spoiling this card. They said both Dorothea and Dorothea. So this is going to be. I heard somebody at the LGS earlier this week pronounce Thalia, Talia, and so I imagine that Thalia, Talia, Dorothea, and Dorothea is going to be similar to Teferi and Teferi.
Yeah. I mean, it's the most common mispronunciation in Magic is Teferi.
Yeah, we all know that it's pronounced Yaka. It's not Jace.
I mean, you could also go with Dorothea.
Dorothea.
Just put the emphasis on the end. Okay, and then what we got here?
It's not Yorian.
Then if you control exactly 13 permanents, saw that coming a mile away.
That's going to be the alt WinCon card this set, right?
Yeah. Human Ranger Werewolf. So these are all creature types that will be in here. Human Ranger Werewolf, Angel Soldier, Zombie Scorpion, Serpent Egg. Yeah, we saw the Zombie Scorpion. Eye Horror. I love that. I love an Eye Horror, man. Evil Eye of Ormsby Gore. Great. Anyhow, Human Peasant, Spirit Warlock, Slug Horror. There it is. There's the Slug Horror. Kraken Horror and Vampire Noble. There are two new ones.
There's another differentiation in pronunciation. You say Kraken, I say Kraken. But my guess is that Kraken Horror legendary creature is going to be the thing that says the fat creature types that Kiora is normally associated with of Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent. I
go with Kraken specifically. So that slides back to my days as a bartender.
Yeah.
You didn't want to ask people if they want to crack.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Especially where I was working, which was a pretty not fancy dive bar. You tried to just, there were all these little things you would do to just like make sure that none of that stuff was happening in your bar.
It makes sense. You don't have to deal with that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the cards. We'll go over to
before we hop into the spoilers. Before we talk about the specific cards, can we talk about how fucking sick these Count Dracula reskins
they're so cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I love them.
Oh my god,
them.
they are so good.
Yeah, I need them.
So good.
So I have an Edgar Markov EDH deck, and it's not great, but it's like, you know, every time a set like this comes out, I take stuff out and add stuff in, just because it's a fun and very easy deck to build, because you're just like, okay, you know, like these cards are better than these cards, you know, slot them in and out. Yeah, I need these for that deck. They're so cool.
These are so sick. Dude, we need, like, you want to know something that I noticed I have recently about myself that I've noticed with sets?
What's that?
When a card's art is so goddamn cool, I'm like, well, I have to play with that. Even when I know that it's not legacy power level, I'm like, it's going straight into my deck box.
This is exactly how most of my career as a standard Magic player was. I was like, oh, that card's cool. I want to just slot it into a deck.
That is a toy I want to play with.
Yeah.
And so let's just talk about the new Sorin Planeswalker first, because that's the Count Dracula.
Put him up
overlay,
there,
shall we?
Yep, put him up there. He is Sorin the Mirthless.
Does everybody know what mirthless means? Is that a definition?
That means
we need
you
to
do
share
not have the car from Wayne's World, the Mirthmobile.
That's what it means, dear listeners. Mirthless is like, in this particular example of Sorin being the Mirthless means that, like, you like scoff at shit. You're like above it. You're over it, right? That's like that's like, if you're mirthless, it's like you don't give them, like, you don't give a mirth. You don't give a shit, right? You're like fuck this noise. And so, like, he's at the wedding and he's like, well, this wedding is bad for all involved. And so he's like the dude on the side of, like, the reception who's just like, I don't want to fucking be here.
So,
like, this is awful.
As a ex-wedding photographer, I can say that there is a particular person at every wedding that is that person. You know who that person is?
There's always the person who's just like,
you know who that person is, Phil? That person who always has the stink eye at every wedding, like that is
the person who wanted to be on there.
I'm over it. Like, can this day just be finished already? Like, do you know who that person is? It's 100%. It is a bridesmaid. It's 100% always the unmarried older sister of the bride. Yes. I have photos of just like, wow, this person's just phoning it the F in. Like, this is supposed to be the best day of her sister's life, and she's like, you know what? It's not me. I don't care.
Have you ever seen that in your time as a wedding photographer? Did that ever happen with brothers?
No, because everyone brothers are just like, yeah, man, that's great. Like, I'm glad you're having a good time, and I'm going to get trashed. Passive. It's always like, I'm going to get trashed, and I'm going to see, you know, like maybe one of the bridesmaids is single, you know, or like, honestly, like every time I've ever shot a wedding, the other groomsmen are always like not single. You know, they're always like, oh yeah, I'm here with my girlfriend. You know, like as a groomsman, you're like, I've got a date. You know, so you're just happy to be outside and to be like hanging out. And you know what? The Temptations are playing. Maybe they're doing a little Otis Day and the Nights. You know, Morris Day and the Nights. Sorry. The Electric Slide's going. You're feeling good. But the older sister of the bride that is still single is just not. She's never happy. So it's a shame. In this scenario,
Sorin is the older sister, or as flavor wise for the story, the offspring of Edgar Markov. So he's unmarried. He's the unmarried. Child.
Well, so this is true. There is also that person. I've shot a wedding where like the child of the bride, who was not like the father was, you know, from a previous marriage or you know, whatever, out of wedlock. Who knows? But the child, I remember specifically, and this was shot in Philadelphia, so I'm right here. I remember that the kid had to constantly be talked to by the mom to just like be like, hey, you know, like, is everything going good for you, little guy, or whatever? And every single time the kid just threw mad shade, like, I can't wait for this day to be over. And you're just like, what a piece of shit. So like, you've raised a monster.
So Sorin
is that kid,
for this day to be over. So that's what mirthless means.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. Mirthless.
Yeah, we have defined mirthless in its pure.
Mirthless is the bride's older sister. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyhow, so Soren the Mirthless is a black planeswalker for 2 and 2 black. Legendary planeswalker Soren. With a 4 loyalty. It's his +1 is look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card and put it into your hand. If you do, lose life equal to its mana value. So that's sort of the opposite effect of the other Soren from like, I don't know, like three Innistrads ago.
The 6 mana Soren, yeah.
Yeah. Then we have -2, create a 2/3 vampire token with flying and lifelink. I wish you had Death Touch too, but you can't get too greedy.
Wow. Well, flying and lifelink, a 2/3 flying lifelinker means that you are just creating a vampire Nighthawk.
Well, minus the Death Touch.
Minus the Death Touch, yeah.
And then we have -7. Soren the Mirthless deals 13 damage to any target, and you gain 13 life.
So that -7 is close to just saying win the game on it, right?
It's
not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed, but it's damn close. I actually think like this is one of those cards where I feel like it is so very close. It has a +1 that's card advantage. It's in colors that don't get power blasted or red blasted, and 2/3. So it can minus twice. It's just 4 mana, and you can minus it twice straight out the gate to get 2/3 flying lifelinkers. And a 2/3 flying lifelinker is no joke. Like those are legit stats with like relevant.
Here's the question: if this was white, would you have thought to play this in Miracles?
No.
Like, would you think like, okay, I can play this instead of Gideon? Like back when people were playing Gideon.
You have a long line of like the stuff that competes with Gideon, whether it's the other Elspeth, or like any of the court, the new court. In that space, that type of card was a banger back in the day.
Yeah.
The format's just way too fast for that kind of thing.
It's different format now. But so the thing is that there's just not a slot for this card just yet, right? Like there's no black control deck in Legacy.
Which is why I'm like, this card is so close. Like these are all relevant abilities that you care about. But I don't, if at 4 mana, it's probably too steep. Like,
yeah.
It's unfortunate now that the way that I used to look at things, if they had the Abrupt Decay check, right? It's like the Power Blast, the Blue Blast, and the Abrupt Decay check. If you are somehow dodge all of those things, you're excellent, which is why Gideon was so good.
Gideon was amazing for that reason.
Right?
Yeah.
Like it just filled this narrow edge through all of the played removal that you would run into. And so it was excellent because it was resilient. And now that Skyclave Apparition exists, it's like, none of that really matters anymore. Like there isn't really that niche to carve out. So you just have to be good enough on rate. And this Soren, I feel like is so dangerously close. Like if it never shows up, I won't be surprised. But if it shows up niche in
someone sides it in against you somehow or something. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it's very, very close. And I would love to see it show up. I'm definitely going to try and experiment and try and find a spot for it. There's a lot of interactions to be had here, and I don't know. I would love to see it.
All right, well, let's talk about some of the other cards from the set. So we've got the Savior of Olenbrock. I don't think that's worth really talking about. Overcharged Amalgam.
So the Savior of Olenbrock, there is one thing in particular that we should note about it. It doesn't jump out at first glance, but it says when it trains, exile up to one other target creature from the battlefield or a creature from a graveyard. And then when it leaves, you put those cards onto the battlefield. So this is a circumventing reanimation effect too. Mm-hmm. So you can exile your own shit to reanimate it later if they remove it. So if you train this and there's not a creature on their end to remove, you can exile something from your yard and if they kill it
and kind of have backup.
You get your creature back.
The rough part about this is specifically the fact that one, you need like a 1/2 training's tough, right? Because a 1/2 is good for training, but it's not really good for 3 mana in Legacy. Like you want impact, you want impact immediately. So if you're playing Death and Taxes and you're like, boom, violent 3, slam this, untap, attack. And it's like, yeah, that Thalia attacked and, you exiled something and, maybe they removed it. But like, I don't know. It's not enough for me. I think it's like maybe fringe playable as like a reanimator hate card. But like, I feel like you can just do better.
I don't think this is going to see play because the rate is too high. Like 3 mana is too
3 mana
steep
and attack, like, yeah.
And I don't 3 mana and attack with another creature. So there's too many hoops to jump through to make this card work. But if it does see play in Legacy, I think it's going to see play because it's another way to put creatures from your graveyard incidentally onto the battlefield. Yeah. That's where I think the power level in this card is. But yeah, I agree. I think the rate's too high. But
then we have
that's where the sneaky horror is.
We have Overcharged Amalgam, and I only want to mention this card because I think it could see play in like a very fringe deck. So this is a 3 mana flying flash 3/3 for 4 mana. That is 2 and 2 blue, and it has exploit. And the exploit is when you exploit a creature, counter target spell, activated ability, or triggered ability. And the only way I would see this being played is like maybe as like a weirdo card in what's called food chain or something like that.
That's possible. I was racking my brain all day trying to figure out where this could possibly go. The rate is too high. The power and toughness isn't strong enough. And in order to actually get the ability, you need to have a creature on board that you then sacrifice. So you're not going up a card. You're trading whatever you exploited to get whatever you counter. So
maybe
I think
maybe the well, so that is the same deck with the what the hell is it called? It's not the same deck. The Cavern Harpy deck. What's it called? Help me out.
Lauren? Yeah.
It could be a card in a Lauren, right? Like you'd have to actually cast this,
4 mana.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. No, you don't get the free cast. I don't think it's there. There's like so many spots where like a slight tweak and it probably makes it. Mm-hmm. But I don't see, at least right now, there's no deck that would want this. It's too expensive.
All right, so then we have Volatile Arsonist and Olivia. Unfortunately, these cards I just don't think see any kind of real play. And
Volatile, I mean, I get Volatile Arsonist is just another long line of, mythic red shit that does stuff that goes in Red Stompy. But is it better than what Red Stompy already has going on? I don't know. I mean, it's another Menace Haste threat, right? Like it's a fat beater that, I mean, when it ETBs, it's going to hit hit them for at least 5.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe not.
Change of Fortune is an interesting card. I don't know if it'll see play anywhere. I know personally where it'll see play for me, and that'll be in an Angie Falconwrath deck. But you have Change of Fortune, which is a sorcery for 3 and a red. It says discard your hand, then draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. So that the discard of this turn is interesting because if you can find ways to like Wheel of Fortune and whatnot, and then cast this card, you could potentially draw a lot of cards.
Yeah, this strikes me as it has to be a payoff to your combo.
Yeah.
I don't know what combo that would be because
the only reason why in competitive EDH, Angie Falconwrath, you could basically cycle through your entire deck, and cards like I think Shadow of the Grave. That basically pick up everything that you discard this turn, and cards like this would be very good together. And so I don't know that it's exploitable, but it's worth mentioning because the power level it could be off the chain if it gets going.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You have Breakthrough, which is just a very cheap discard outlet. I mean, I don't know what I don't know what the combo deck would be, but this strikes me as like this would be the ad nauseum for that deck, right? Where it's like, when you cast this, you pick up your deck and then you kill them.
Yeah. All right. Then we have Wedding Invitation, Ghostly Snare, or Geistlight Stare, Dominating Vampire, Wedding Announcement, Dig Up, which has the new mechanic for Cleave, which is a bit clunky in its wording, but like it makes sense.
It's just another kicker mechanic.
Yeah.
It's a kicker mechanic that saves them space in their text box.
Yep. Grolnok. I don't think this is playable. I wouldn't play this in Rug Delver,
Grolnok is not playable because it's just too pricey for 3. It's a 3/3 for 4. Yeah. The ability on it is pretty hot. I mean, whenever a permanent card is put into your graveyard from your library, exile it with a croak counter, and then you can play lands and cast spells from among them. Like, I don't know. That's essentially this is on the board. Every permanent you flip over means you drew it.
Yeah.
Right. Like that is a very powerful ability. This is a 4-mana 3/3, assuming that you only flip over permanents, which you can build your deck as such. It's 4-mana 3/3, draw 3 cards.
I could see Lance trying it. I could see Lance trying it as like a one of, like this is this good? Is this better
than Slowgurk?
Slowgurk. I mean, Grolnok and Slowgurk, I feel like just put them both in the same deck, right? But no, is this better? This effect better than Tireless Tracker? Let's not talk about the power and toughness of Tireless Tracker. That's obviously like better here, but like, are you getting more value out of this card than you would Tireless Tracker?
So what I think is important about this card is it's soft to Caracas, right? And you know that anybody who has Caracas, if you're playing lands, is bringing it in against you. Luckily, if Grolnok is removed from the board and then replayed, you can still play the stuff with croak counters because it's a separate line of text that says you can play them. So that's templating to make sure that if another Grolnok comes in, you can cast all of the cards that were previously hit off of another Grolnok. So that's powerful. 4-mana 3/3, draw 3 cards is powerful. Every time you put a card into your yard, you draw it. Like, that is an insane line of text. So if somebody plays this, I could see it being some type of combo deck where you are trying to flip your library over and then you just draw all the cards that you flipped.
But they're all permanent. It's not like, the problem with the combo deck part of that is that they're all permanents. They're not instants. So it's not like you can, there are certainly things you can do. Like, I mean, just imagine hitting like expiration into expiration into expiration, and then you're just like, boom, 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 boom.
This
that would
also
be good.
works this also works with mana rocks, right? You just can cast free mana rocks and churn through your deck if you're milling stuff over. So it's like
Mox Opal works with this card very well.
Your combo pieces have to be permanent based, but luckily there's a lot of fast mana. There's a lot of fast mana that's permanent based in Legacy. So I don't think there's a home right now for this card. Yeah. However, the actual text on it is so insanely broken that if somebody can find the rest of the pieces, I could see this being like, I'm playing Grolnok combo,
Yep. All right. Let's talk about here's the older sister
made
scenario.
A dishonor. You found it.
Angie made him dishonor. I don't think this is a playable card. 4/5 for 4 mana. We haven't played 4/5s for 4 mana since what's it called Urnham Jin.
It's so unfortunate that something with a raw rate like this, 4/5 for 5, when it ETBs, it makes you a permanent.
Yep.
And then you can use those permanents to like affect races. Like, this is a very powerful card. This is doing a lot of powerful stuff. On rate, this is very good.
This would be a great card in standard.
Because Uro exists, and Uro is just bigger than everything they're ever going to print and does everything better than any other text box they're going to make. This card will never see the light of day because Uro exists. Like, it's fucking toxic that Uro has that effect on every card going forward.
Yep. Let's talk about Demonic Bargain.
Exile the top 13 cards of your library, then search your library for a card and put it into your hand. Wow.
It's a weird one, right? Like, that's so the card that we can compare this almost directly to is Demonic Consultation, where you name a card, then exile the top 10 cards of your deck, and then you flip your deck until you get that card. But it only costs 1 mana.
Yeah, this is the throwback to that. I think that aside from it being just a 3 mana tutor for whatever you want, right? Assuming that whatever you wanted was an exiled into the top 13 cards, there's the rub. Yep. I think part of the power level of this is 3 mana to just remove 13 cards from your deck. Like, I don't know. Like, I imagine part of a combo could be just like, I want to get rid of my library. And
isn't there there is a card that gets +1/+1 every time for every card that you exile.
Leila.
No, it's from like the foretell like commander deck, and it like can become like a god. It becomes like a 10/10 indestructible god if you like get 10 counters onto it. So you could
if there was a combo of like something on turn 1 or turn 2 that says every time something is exiled, trigger.
Yeah.
Doing that, getting 13 triggers for 3 mana is certainly a 1-2 punch that I'd be interested in seeing.
Yeah, I'd have to see what it is, but basically you create a 10/10 that continues to grow god with indestructible and like flying. Let me look it up real fast. I know I can find it.
Are you trying to build your own Merit Lage right now?
Yeah, dude, build your own Merit Lage. You heard it here first. Commander. It's not commander. It is a Kaldheim situation. Just want to see this creature. So this is from the Kaldheim set. It's from the what's it called? It's from the commander set though. So I'm trying to figure out where that might be. There we go. It's called Hero of Bredegard. It is a 2 and 1 white for a human warrior. 1/1. It's a creature, obviously. Whenever you exile one or more cards from your hand and or permanents from the battlefield, never mind. I'll shut up and we'll continue going forward.
Wow. Got.
Yeah, I was like, well, that's way too good to be true.
Should have played. I should have played. There must be some amount of cards in Magic's 30-year history that says whenever you exile a card from anywhere, do a thing. And if doing that thing 13 times is game winning, then that sounds like a good enough combo to me.
It's a cool card. I'll finish reading it just so you put that many +1/+1 counters on Hero of Bredegard. And as long as Hero of Bredegard has 5 or more counters, those are any type of counters. So they could be like a flying counter. It has flying and is an angel. As long as it has 10 or more counters, it is indestructible and becomes a god. Cool. Neat idea. In theory, it would have worked really neat with the card we were just talking about, but obviously that is not from anywhere. It's just from your hand or from your battlefield. So slightly less cool.
Is Dorothea victim. It's a 4/4 for blue and a white. It's a legendary spirit with flying. When she attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at the end of combat, and then it has disturb for 1 blue white, and it comes back as an enchantment on a creature, and it turns that creature into a Geist of Saint Traft. So is Dorothea good enough? Dorothea powerful enough to make
Dorothea
blue-white spirits legacy playable?
I would say no. But a 4/4 flyer is still like not bad for 2 mana if you can. It's the fact that you need to throw that on top of something afterwards. You know, that's the toughest part, because there's no blue-white deck that wants to play this like kind of aggro strategy that this card is sort of pushing. Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. Is spirits? Yeah. Is this something to put spirits over the top? Because it's a fat threat early that gets in for damage. With all of the spirit support, it could be a 2 mana 5/5 or 2 mana 6/6 in the air that hits hard, and then it comes back and it turns your dinky spirits into Geist of Saint Trafts.
Here's a question:
you're doing all the tricky shit already with like rattle chains and whatnot to give your stuff hexproof and get tricky with it.
Let me ask this question then. So Dorothea. So let's say I disturb this, but I have Thalia out. Does it count as a creature?
When you are disturbing, you may cast it from your grave. I assume that when you cast it, it's still a creature.
And then it transforms.
And then it is an enchantment on the stack because you've cast it as the.
Yeah.
So I think when you flash this, when you're disturbing it, I think it is technically a creature because it's a creature in the yard, similar to like how adventures and the creature on the adventure works. When you cast the adventure, it's a creature in your hand and a creature in the yard, but if you cast the adventure, it's an instant or sorcery on the stack.
Well, that would be a really rad tool to add to the deck, is like put Thalia in there, and this doesn't really disturb Thalia's plan for you. Like you don't have to pay the extra mana to make this happen.
Yeah,
if that works that way.
I could be wrong, but like if you're disturbing it, it says you may cast this card. This card is Dorothea, and then on the stack it would be the enchantment, but it's already you've already paid the mana. So
I guess we'll have to find out on Magic Arena later on. All right, Voldaren Bloodcaster. That is a 2 mana, 1 and a black, flying a vampire wizard. When this or another non-token creature you control dies, you create a blood token. Blood tokens, by the way, are an artifact with 1 and tap. Discard a card from your hand, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. So it loots.
It's rummage.
Whenever you create a blood token, if you control 5 or more blood tokens, you transform it into a flying 3/3 that at the end of the combat on your turn, up to 1 target blood token becomes a 2/2 bat. Just makes bats with haste.
It becomes
blood bat.
Blood bat. Where am I seeing this? I'm seeing this flying 3/3, and it has sweet Dracula treatment.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This card is like, I need this. I need this for my deck just because the blood, the Dracul.
So once this transforms, there's no way of transforming it back.
No,
it just stays what that is. So
unless you exile it, blink it, as it were.
I mean, here's the thing: a 2 mana 2/1 flyer is not going to cut it. But whenever it or another non-token creature you control dies, create a blood token. That essentially saying every time a creature you control dies, rummage at your will. I mean, that's pretty good. I don't know. I mean, if you have let's say going back to the classic, let's say I got Carrion Feeder Gravecrawler, Voldaren Bloodcaster on the table. I'm just making tokens equal to my mana.
Yep.
That ain't bad.
Well,
it's not good. It's not good, but it ain't bad.
Well, let's move on because this is fine.
I want my take to be remembered as it ain't good, but it ain't bad.
It could be worse. All right. Of course, when I flip back, we added a bunch of new cards that got spoiled. So forgive me. I'm just gonna cycle through this real fast. Sigarda Summons is only interesting because of the ability that it would with Edgar Markov and EDH, like make all your vampires into 4/4 angels when flying when they attack.
Not playable in Legacy, but I imagine it's going to be sweet when you are playing Edgar Markov.
Yeah, that's silly. All right, so let's go to these new cards that just got spoiled. We've got Strefan, Morar Progenitor.
Strefan.
Strefan. Okay, so it's 2, a black and a red. I'm reading this for the first time in front of everybody right now. This is another vampire noble. Here's the new guy. New players enter the battlefield. At the beginning of your end step, create a blood token for each player who lost life this turn. Whenever Strefan attacks, you may sacrifice 2 blood tokens. If you do, you may put a vampire card from your hand onto the battlefield. Tapped and attacking, it gains indestructible until end of turn.
I imagine this character sounds yes, I'm Strefan. Yes.
No, I see him as like a Matt Berry kind of.
You think this is the Matt Berry of the set?
Yeah. He's like, Madam.
You think this is the Jackie Daytonia of the set?
Yeah. He's the actor's actor.
No, dude, don't tell me this is the Jackie Daytonia of the set. This is not Legacy playable. I want to play Jackie Daytonia in Legacy.
He's like, Madam. Anyhow, I don't know if you don't know who Matt Berry is. If you haven't seen, he is the boss in IT Crowd, and he was also currently He is the one of the vampires from What We Do in the Shadows. So
great series.
He's great. He's great.
Great series. Very funny. Highly recommend.
Yeah. He's just a great actor. He's just like he plays the same part in everything, and he plays it great.
He has one character, but is it not funny?
Oh, dude, it's the best. All right, and then Millicent, Restless Revenant. Millicent. I don't think this is playable at 5 white and a blue, but as I read further, they cost 1 less for each spirit you control. So maybe that spirits deck is coming together, Phil. Flying. Whenever Millicent, Restless Revenant, or another non-token spirit you control dies or deals combat damage to a player, create a 1/1 white spirit token with flying. It would be nice if that somehow could contribute to getting that guy into play. But, like, it's a 4/4 flyer that could have a reduced cost and also, like, is wrath proof. And, like, if you put multiple of these in your deck and someone gets rid of this, you get a guy for it that reduces the next one's cost for 1.
I don't know.
We're getting closer. We're getting closer, right?
This card strikes me as something that Nate has wanted for a long time with Lingering Souls.
Yeah. Oh, there you go.
I'm just saying.
If you reduce its cost by 4, it costs 3 then.
It's a 4/4 flyer.
All you have to do is pay 5 mana to reduce this thing's cost by 4. You get 4 spirit tokens.
I'm saying that there's a lot of ways to make spirits. This is a cost reduction mechanic, and then it builds your board out whenever a non-token spirit dies or deals combat damage. It's got the Grave Titan style stuff. Yeah, you're right. It's not going to see any play, but it would be sweet if it did.
It's another piece of that puzzle, let's say.
Here's how I feel. If I am lucky enough to have the opportunity to terminus the shit out of somebody's board full of spirits, I hope we all have a great time. I will happily terminus your Millicent.
So sad. It has to die. Okay. All right. So we've got another mythic. It's a white mythic. It's called Wedding Ring, which, I mean, can we just launch that ship of like every Magic player for the next like couple of years handing their fiance who doesn't play Magic this card and being like, I did the thing, guys. I'm going to post it on Reddit and get 1 million views while my legit criticism of the D&D set gets just trashed on Reddit. Rage. Okay, anyhow.
Do you need to share your feelings? Yes, this is going to be used as every like shticky.
No, don't. Yeah. Look, fam.
Okay,
don't be that guy. Don't be that guy. You're more creative than that. You can do better. Do something that means something to both of you. It's very important. This is me to you, me to the listener. To that guy who's thinking about it, just you can do better than this. Even if your girlfriend plays Magic, you can do better than this. This is a bit cliche. It's a little too on the nose. Guys.
You want to know the best part about this card for the people who aren't going to listen to you, though?
But wait, we haven't even read the card yet.
Before we do,
okay,
we at least know that this one is templated correctly. The number of times I see the meme and it is just templated wrong, I'm like, who would marry this person?
Yeah. Anyway, how about how this isn't equipment? That's nonsense. Okay, anyhow.
It's not an equipment. That's so true. I didn't even think about that.
Anyhow, Wedding Ring. It's 2 and 2 white. I still don't know what it does yet. It's an artifact. When Wedding Ring enters the battlefield, if it was cast, target opponent creates a token that's a copy of it. Now you're married to your opponent. When an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring draws a card during their turn, draw a card. Whenever an opponent who controls an artifact named Wedding Ring gains life during this card is nonsense. It means
that you and whoever else has the copy, man. Whoever you're married to,
I'm
draw cards and gain life together.
So many of my friends in EDH.
will draw all the cards together and gain all the life together. You're going to play the game together. You're together forever until the end of the game.
How many times during EDH are my friends going to drop this and be like, "Yo, will you marry me?"
Dude, you want to know what this is? The wedding ring is actually going to be tied to every time. Which player has the Ristic study?
Yeah, every time.
Every time. I'm going to marry the Ristic study player.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that's the equivalent of marrying for the money.
So it's true to life.
Yeah.
Well, those are all the spoilers so far, fam.
That's it.
There's going to be a lot more tomorrow. There's going to be a lot more the day after that. Let us pray for Grimgrin. Let us all pray to whatever we pray to.
Let's pray to Patreon for your support. We're gonna start getting back to a bit more of a normal schedule. I was very depressed for the last couple of months, so I've been taking it easy, and I think we can start to put out more content again in a relatively normal fashion. I think we'll start doing like a Saturday or Sunday record session, so we have a little bit more time to get everything ready for like a Monday drop.
Yeah, and also one thing too is like if we're ever talking about something on the cast, or you see or you're watching like 90s MTG, Chris Benucci's 90s MTG on Twitch or anything like that, and you want a deck list or you want to talk about theory of anything that we've mentioned on the cast, just hit us up on Twitter. Or join our Discord. Join the Discord.
Join our Discord.
Talk to us in there. We are always happy to talk about all that stuff ad nauseum and bounce ideas back and forth and build stuff out. So, do it. That's a great afternoon for Phil and I when we should be working. We love talking. I mean, shout out to Hackbert for being in the Eternal Dota's Discord and really
just brewing, just out there brewing.
He always lays up the best brews, and if you want to see them, you're gonna have to join. But let me tell you, his brews are exceptional.
Yeah, dude.
Anyway, that's all I got.
Well, if you want to support us over at Patreon, you can join us at patreon.com/EternalDurtles. As always, we really appreciate your support, and that just goes towards helping us create the podcast, teaching us how to do things like if you're watching this on YouTube, I put some time and effort into learning how to upload and create YouTube so that we could you could see our lovely faces. Also, and think that I'm younger than I am and Phil's older than he is somehow.
We had a great comment. I forget who it was by, but somebody was
so good.
Can you pull it up real quick? I'll finish our round out spiel while you find it.
Yep,
Do I have it right here.
I've listened to the
subscribe,
podcast.
all that stuff. Go ahead.
I've listened to the podcast for a long time, but I never knew what any of them looked like until now. I've expected Phil to be balder, heavier, and older looking. This is not what I pictured in my head. I assume this person's complaining at us for Phil not looking worse.
Yeah, the fact that I don't look like a tubby schlub is like, he's like, this is upsetting. And Chris, to be fair, I used to be exactly who he pictured. In my younger days, I was that person.
You were balder in your younger days?
I was balder. I was fatter. I was less fun to be around. I still had awful brews that made me go 0-16 at the LGS. But yeah, what we need all of y'all to do,
comment. I love comment.
Get in those.
This guy got highlighted.
I specifically only want everything that you hate about me and everything that you like about Zach and how much you miss Nate. That's the only type of comment that we're willing to accept.
I just want you guys to comment about how much you miss Nate. That really to me is like the best part.
Also, if you can remember if you didn't know what we looked like before and now you do, if you could share what you thought we looked like so we can continue that meme. That was
I love it. I actually have when I interviewed one of the VPs of like digital or whatever, somebody came in and was like, Oh wow! I thought you were way younger. I was like, oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's like the subtle daggers, right?
Yeah.
It's the daggers where you're like,
terrible.
Sorry to disappoint you that I look like a piece of shit.
It's like you look terrible for your voice.
Yeah, it's like your voice is so much better than you. You look, oh God.
Yeah. I love it though. Like, just keep roasting us. That's great. Anyhow, it was lovely having you all join us. Have a great weekend.
We will be back with all of the spoilers next week. All the spoilers for the set will be out, confirmed November 5th.
Nice.
So the next time we see each other, it's going to be with the full set and praying for Grim Grin.
Sick. Wait, real quick. Phil, what are you doing for Halloween? What's your Halloween costume this year?
Bro, okay. So you want to hear my Halloween
Yeah,
costume?
yeah.
Here it goes. Okay, so I'm doing a throwback. So back when I was a kid, right? Obviously watched wrestling growing up all throughout my childhood, worked for wrestling for a little while. And my brother, I remember one time when I was still too young to go out, right? And he's 5 years older than me. So he was able to like go out with his friends, have an awesome time trick-or-treating. They all went as the Wolf Pack, right? Oh. All the wrestling fans will know what the Wolf Pack is. We won't get too much into it. But my brother in particular was Razor Ramon. Now, Ramon,
so good.
So good.
The machismo.
Razor Ramon is notoriously good on the mic for being the most boring piece of shit, but he was a bad guy. Here was his catchphrase. Okay, I'm going to hit you up with two of his catchphrases. He would get on the mic and he would talk as slow as you could imagine. But he'd be like, he'd get up in everybody's face, everybody'd be booing the shit out of him. He's like, "You don't know why I'm here. And we don't care." That was like, he would take 4 minutes to say those words. It was insane. And then his whole other thing was he would always have a toothpick in his mouth.
Yeah.
And his catchphrase at the end of everything is he would take the toothpick, flick it in his opponent's face and go, "I'm the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy.
I'm the bad guy."
That's the one. I'm the bad guy.
So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to dress up like Razor Ramon, walking around and flicking toothpicks in my friends' faces saying, "I'm the bad guy."
That's a good one. I like that. Razor Ramon.
What are you doing?
All right. So let me show you the previous best for me was, here it comes. I just almost found it. And then previous best for me and my wife as far as couples costumes was Glow.
Nice. Yep. Oh, also in the wrestling.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I'm Liberty Bell. She's the Way of the Destroyer.
Yo, you look great as a blonde.
Yeah, dude. Right? Look at that mullet.
Look at that.
That's the content you can only get on YouTube, guys.
Wow. That see what you look like there is what people actually thought you looked like before they.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So this year, we were thinking about, like, last year we just did like we didn't do anything last year. Just the dog up as a Jedi. Because we were moving. Yeah. We moved on like the 4th. So we were just like, we don't have time for a Halloween costume. We're packing the house up. Previous year, we did I was the Joker, like from the new-ish Joker movie. Mm-hmm. And she dressed up as a witch. We do like an on-off year for like couples costumes. Yeah. This year we figured let's be on, because we didn't do one last year. We're doing WandaVision.
Nice. Yeah. Ooh, that's gonna be. Are you doing like a whole shit ton of makeup? How are you doing that?
So I'm gonna do the red face with the stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be in like a cardigan.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Like
so you're doing that. Yeah. That's good.
But she's gonna do like the Scarlet Witch, like the Halloween Scarlet Witch costume that she wears.
But you're doing full makeup.
Yeah, just for the head.
But that's still
and the bald wig. I'll get a bald wig.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Not that I really need too much of a bald wig, but like,
yeah, you're close. You could shave your head.
I could just shave down, right? Yeah,
you could commit.
So I thought about fully committing and just taking the beard off.
Ooh.
Which
you
is like,
have I ever seen you without a beard? I don't think I have.
Certainly you have. Certainly I have. I didn't really rock the beard too much when I used to play Modern. So I want to say that say that when you saw me in Richmond, I probably did not have a beard. It'll be weird for everyone watching, though, because they've probably never seen me without a beard. And I've literally had a beard probably for like 5 or 6 years. And it was just because, like, you know, I was gaining a little bit of weight. And I was like, this is a great way to hide it. Just have a beard. No one can tell.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need a little cover up. You know, I get
it. You'll immediately know when I shave. So I don't think I will. I think I might just be like, screw it. Like, I'm just not going to. I'll just shave. Like, I do. I'll go down to about where you are right now. A little more. Like I'll do like a 1 everywhere to just like reset it. And I need to get the neck.
Clean it up a little bit. Yeah. You got to clean it up a little bit. Yeah.
I did get a haircut just recently. I paid for a haircut just recently, like 2 weeks ago. So it's been a bit. I mean, it looks like garbage now.
You should have told your barber to just shave it all off because you're doing WandaVision.
Yeah, I mean, I can do that at home. The number of times I shaved my own head. I still like for the last like I don't know, like 6-7 years. I cut my own hair, and I paid to have someone cut my hair 2 weeks ago just to see like how close I am to like how my haircut would be. And yeah, I got the skills to pay the bills, my man.
Dude, I just recently found a barber that is actually legitimate. Don't settle. Everybody out there, you do not settle. You find the hairstylist that works for you.
I'm the hairstylist that works for me.
Do not compromise. Shop around.
Yeah. Sometimes, as they say in the doo-wop songs, you got to shop around.
Got to shop around.
Yep. All right. Well, I think that finally does it for us tonight. Everyone have a good night. Have a good Halloween. Comment about what your Halloween costume is going to be. I actually do want to know. If you
remember, I'm the bad guy.
The bad guy.
The bad guy.
I'm more of a woo.
Oh yeah. Oh dude, you would be a great. You should definitely dress up as Ric Flair one year. He's kind of creepy now, but like do the original, the OG Ric Flair with the full robe. Yeah.
All right. Be good, everybody.
Later on. Yo, it's Force of Philip on the track, and we are about to crash a goddamn motherfucking wedding, my friends. Let's go. Innistrad wedding, bloodletting, invitation, celebration, mark off on there in ceremony, holy matrimony. Soren ain't happy, thinks this shit is so phony. He's so lonely, he's so sad, he Count Dracula, he a bad. He's so mad that his dad, Edgar Markov looking awesome. Olivia, giving him visions of Innistrad color crimson, distinguished with the difference that their bloodline flying high over Thraven and Biddens, Morlana, Thalia, Trostad and Kissing, where werewolves are driven from killing humans, cause they stupid, they so dirty, smelling putrid, scratching lunatics from their gruesome shredded tunics. So much blood go wag-a-gug-gug-gug-gluing from the bruising vampires cruising on that plane they reclaim on this day when they say, will you, Olivia, take Edgar Markov as your lawfully wedded vampire hunk show? Oh yeah, will you, Edgar, take Olivia Voldaren as your lawfully wedded forever master? Oh my god, yeah. Oh, damn. It's true love, y'all. That shit's the true love bloodline. Damn. Fuck.
Get strong.